Dean White, Ashley Theophane. Very good evening, boys. Thank you once again for joining us. Ash, we'll start with yourself, mate. We had Sam Eggington on here 4 days ago, 5 days ago, something like that. He's midway through his training camp. He's looking good. He's ready. We were just having a quick chat about the plans for that fight before we came on air. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Camp has been good. It's like the last week of prep. Can't really complain. Just putting in the work in it. It's just a next fight. Just gotta go in there and just gotta do what we do in it.
Yeah, that's exactly what you've got to do, especially against a guy like Sam Eggington, who, in his own words, to us the other day, Dean, doesn't do any research on the fights, doesn't really have a game plan. He just comes forward. That's all he's going to do.
Yeah. Well, the mad thing is, I said this because me and Sam, we had to do a talk the other day, and I've only seen Sam fight once when he stopped poorly. So I've been told that he comes to fight, blah blah blah. So I'll watch a little bit more of him to get a little gist of what he does. But you know, I've sparred with a lot of these young guys that come to me, that they come into war, and for me, it's just I just got to be in shape. I've already seen it all and done it all. So for me, it's just to be on my P's and Q's and be like the best I could be at this age now, innit? So as long as I can perform to the best of my thing, I always believe I should be able to win.
Does it sit in the back of your mind there, like you just said there? You made reference to your age.
Yeah.
Does it sit in the back of your mind that maybe you are not the same fighter that you were however many years ago?
Well, look, if these a lot of these young guys, they come at me and they want to swing at me, like, so for me, I see it all of the time. If I'm in the gym, if I'm in a fight, so there's nothing that Sam can really do that I have not seen. The only thing is, it's on the night if I can go to the well again. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you just get to a certain age and you're like, this shit's hard, man. Like, F it, like I'm done. So for me, I won't know until the fight, when it gets hard, like round 5, 6, how I will feel. Like I might be like, yeah, let's go to war, or I might be like, I might do it like a bois and say, no, I'm out of here. So, so you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't until I get punched in the face. I won't know how I feel until the night. So, but
you're a bad guy, man.
Yeah.
You're a bad guy. The man said I'll do a Dubois, you know. Is it what you saying? Is that what the road is calling it now? A Dubois?
I don't know. Well, you know it is though. I haven't dissed him though, because at the end of the day, we don't know the pain that he was going through with his eye and stuff. So I haven't dissed the man. I've said, you know what I mean, he lost, he can come back. So I haven't dissed the man for doing what he done. So I haven't really got an issue with him doing that. I know a lot of guys have said he quit, blah 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 blah. But my thing is, he's still young. He can come again. He can learn off it. And as well, I don't want to be rude to the guys of today, but they're not built the same as they were as back in the day. So a lot of them won't be like the guys and go through the pain. Some of them will, but I think a lot of them won't.
It was a noticeable. It was a noticeable step up in class. I mean, it's easy for us to say this now, looking back, but at the time, and Sam Jones and Joe Joyce said it all the way through the build-up. He has not been in with a fighter of this caliber yet, and that is why. I mean, Ash, we'll talk about your career in a moment, but you will know as well as anybody that there are levels, you know, and you can't cut corners if you are going up against a big, heavy, experienced fella like Joe Joyce. You've got to have something in your own arsenal. Power will get you so far. But you've got to have been there. You've got to.
Like, Joe had done it all as an amateur, so I picked Joe to win because I was like, Joe's seen it all. Like,
and a professional.
we don't really
even
know
as a
about
professional.
him. But yeah, but I picked Joe to win because Joe's seen it all. Like Joe spars with a lot of these big time names, and Joe's fought a lot of them in the amateurs and in the pros. I think he's fought like the better guys. So I thought that Joe would win. So
Yeah,
I was glad he won.
And it was difficult night for Team Dubois, man. Now, you know what it is? I didn't want to upset no one because, you know, I'm in this management game. It's very, very difficult, and it's a thin line in this game because everyone carries feelings. Trust me.
100.
You say something, and what happens in this game, if you say something, they won't say nothing to you, but it'll be like mental note.
They will hold
and that's
grudge,
all it is.
100.
And then 100%. So I didn't want to. I wish the best man the better luck or whatever. And what I did say to most people, look, when you look at the resumes, amateur and professional, when you list Joe Joyce's name, I've done so many interviews and I spoke about this. When you list the names who he's fought as a professional, this was it was like a gigantic step for Daniel Dubois. The power element was always there because look, he's a big puncher. That power is the get out of jail card. But was it gonna be enough on the night? Can Joe Joyce be able to take that power, negate that power, move and box, and get the rounds under his belt to try and sink him in the later round? And he showed he could do that. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I didn't want to go into it too much, but all I did is I always said, look, they don't give out gold, basically gold Olympic medal, silver, what he won, because he did really win the gold, but he got done. He won the European Games. He won World Commonwealth Games. He won a lot of golds. He's the most decorated British amateur athlete there is. So, with that being said, Daniel Dubois, with the branding and the marketing, what they've done with him, they made him out to be a wrecking machine against their opponents at a certain level.
Yeah.
So, you know, it obviously gave us that impression like, okay, he might make it interesting. Look, he's a young boy, a lot of nerves kicked in on the night, and you can see, before he even got in there, you could see, his nose was all red like Rudolph's a little bit after the first round, and he just weren't moving his head, and he just looked tight and tense. This game is not a joke. I keep telling man, I was with some people watching the match, and everyone was like, he's gonna wipe the floor with Joe Joyce, he's gonna do this, he'll wipe the floor with Joshua, this one, that one. And I was like, my guys, you don't know nothing about boxing, do you? You don't need to shut up and bloody stick to the DS office. The benefits of it.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, and I know that we've kind of wandered off here, but it's all good. You've been in the game a long time. You've seen a lot. You've been all over the world. You've fought at the highest level. That look on Dubois' face, I've not fought to any level anywhere near that. But I could see watching it on the telly that was a guy that was nervous in the ring. When you are right at the beginning of your career, do you get that? Do you get that kind of nervous energy when you're stepping in there and you're going up against a guy who, all right, he might not be massive in your physically in your weight class compared to the heavies, but you're going up against guys who have been around the block, they fought this guy and that guy. Do you get a bit of? I don't know.
I would think for Dubois as well. It was such a mainstream fight. They went on GMTV and everything. So all of those, and he's a young man. He's not being rude, but he's still a boy. He's 23 years old. So all of that is a lot, and I think it probably just got to him. You know what I mean? But I thought Joe boxed good. I thought it was a good fight, and I think Dubois can learn off it and come again. You know what I mean? So I thought that's why I haven't dissed him. I thought it was a good fight. I thought he done well until like the end of the fight. So I think it's just one of those things you have to learn from. So I haven't really got much bad things to say about like the young man, you know.
Dean, were David Hay and Carl Frampton a little bit harsh on him?
Listen, I'm not going to say they were harsh. They were saying what they saw. They're fighters. They're fighting men. You know what I'm saying? They're fighting men, and they've been in there. So who am I to say they were too harsh? Listen, what I'm doing, like I said, I sat on the fence the other day because I didn't want to put too much out there in terms of upsetting anyone, and I'm going to do the same now. I'm not going to critique no one too much because, yet again, like I said, I'm in the firing line all the time, so I've got to be, I've got to be quite careful how you say things. But I'm not going to lie. Listen, those guys have seen it and done it. This sport is a gladiator sport. A lot of guys go out on their shield. Not everyone is capable of that, but a lot of guys do go out on their shield. They like to be carried out on a stretcher. But yet again, you got to look at it. Sometimes that's the heart talking, because some people wear their heart on their sleeve.
Yeah.
You know, after hindsight is a great thing. You know, when things happen to people and people think, well, do you know what? Being that brave is a bit silly because I've got myself hurt and now I can't be in the sport no more. But in that moment, adrenaline's going. I don't know. I felt like maybe the corner could have helped him out a little bit more, because I felt like he didn't look like he was all there. He looked very tired. He looked flustered. The occasion got to him. He ran out of ideas a little bit in there. You know what I mean? Because he's used to punching people and bowling them over. So when the bowling over, maybe he hit the target a few times.
Dean, what I want to say is sometimes, I don't want to be rude to no coach, but sometimes when you got a team who haven't really been at the top, they don't even know what they're doing as well. So they can't even help you. So I've seen this so many times that these guys, they get these guys who they may talk the talk, but they haven't even been there. So it's the first time that they're in the big fight as well. So they can't even help you because they don't know what to do. So it's deep,
Makes
man.
sense.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, let's pull it back round to.
No. Do you know what? You might be right.
Let's pull it back round to where you are, Ash. Because we were saying before we came on.
Yeah.
There's talk that this is going to be your last fight.
Yeah.
Maybe over here, maybe the last one anywhere. Yeah. Can we ask you where you stand on that?
So for me, I haven't fought home for 8.5 years, and after I fought back like a year ago, I still wanted to fight back home because the sport's been doing so well here. I wanted to fight home, but it's just always, so I'm getting this fight, so that's why I said yes to this fight. But it's just always hard for me because I just feel that I've never got the support from the board. The board, they always make it hard for me to fight here. So that's kind of why I kind of prefer to fight abroad, because it's just easy. I just go there, I just fight, I just get paid. But whenever I fight here, it's like I gotta jump through hoops to fight here, you know. So it's just, yeah. Because even my fight, I don't want to say it, but even my fight, the board have not given it the green light yet. So I still might not fight next week. I don't know. So I'm finishing up camp, and the board has still not said if I'm gonna fight or not. So it's nuts. Hence, I'm like, this is why it's my last one here, because man can't go through this all the time. Like, it's stressful.
Do you have a UK license? Do you have a British boxing border control license?
No, I don't fight on a British one. I haven't had. Last time I had British one was when I was British champion. So that was 8.5 years ago.
So what do you use? Vegas?
No. So right now I'm using my Ghanaian one.
I said, do You are too funny.
Boxing the worldwide sport.
I'm using my Ghanaian.
Boxing the worldwide sport. You get me?
Yeah. So what I was saying, I was wondering, at 40 years of age, what do you believe you've got to give to the sport? Because obviously you've done a lot already in your career. You know what I mean? You feel like you've got unfinished business?
So this is what it is, Dean. I feel like I'm done. So this is what I'm saying. I got nothing more to give to the sport except that I want to fight back home like one more time.
And then you went and picked this young guy, a young, hungry guy who's relentless, doesn't stop punching, was in an amazing fight with Cheeseman, the egg and the cheese, molded well, which was contender for Fight of the Year, and now you, at 40 years of age, you might as well, it's egg cheese, you might as well call yourself the toast. So the egg, cheese, and the toast is getting together, and we're going to have a cracker. But what I'm saying, like you said, you're not going to know until you're in there, under the fire, in the furnace, if you still got what it takes to you know, bring out the other side of you at 40 years of age. You know what I mean? What's the numbers like in training camp? Are you still hitting good numbers? Are you, you know, the sparring, are they good? Are your strength and conditioning numbers still peaking?
You know what? Everything has been good. Everything has been good. The sparring, some days you have a good day, some days you have a bad day. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's been good and bad days. But overall, like I felt good. I felt good this camp. Everything's kind of gone to plan. So but that's what I'm saying. They're not Sam. I'm not sparring with Sam. So it's kind of like when I went to fight with AB. I was in phenomenal shape. I was running through the guys who I sparred with, and then when it came to the fight, it didn't go to plan. So you know, for me, I always see as I could just train as hard as I could train and work on certain things. So I've done everything I can do, and so he's gonna bring what he brings, and that's what I'm saying. I haven't even. So you're saying that he had a mad fight with Ted, blah 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 blah. I haven't seen the fight. You know, I watched the fight before we fight, but I haven't even seen the fight. So so yeah, so we will see how it goes. But I already know. So in my mind, I know he said he wants to stop me because he doesn't trust the judges, blah blah blah. But that's the same thing with me. Like, I don't believe that the judges, the board, will give me the win if it goes to points. So I don't want it to go to points as well. So in my mind, I would want to stop this guy. So for me, it is what it is. Like, he wants to go on to fight for the world, blah blah blah. I've done that. So he's still got dreams and goals to do. I ain't got no dreams and goals. I've done everything that I wanted to do.
Yeah, aspirations.
Yeah, so for me, this is just, I just want to go out, just have a good fight, win or lose. I want to win. So that's just it for me, innit? Like, I just want this one fight, boom, just go out and say I'm out. Boom, bye. So, you know what I mean? We see how it goes.
Would you give him advice if he asked for it after the fight? Whatever happens in the fight, like you say, he wants to go up and achieve this stuff. You've been there and done it.
You know what? I've never had no issue with majority of guys I fought. Like with AB, he spoke shit like during the thing, but after the fight we were cool, and before the fight we were cool. So you know what I mean? I ain't got no issue with Sam. He's been cool in the thing. He's just saying he wants to win because he wants to do this and that. So I ain't got no issue with the man. We're just gonna go in there. I know he's coming for a war. I'm training for a war. So, you know, it's just that my old self can still do it, and we will go. You know what I mean? But I've trained for a hard fight. I've done everything I could do. So, yeah, you know what I mean?
Do you still speak to Adrian Broner?
If I see him, yeah, I saw him in December. So we spoke then. So I saw him in December. But yeah.
Do you think he's done in boxing, or do you think he'll come back?
Well, he's gonna fight, but he's had his best days, isn't it? He's had his best days. Now he's just gonna collect checks, win some fights, lose some fights. So it is what it is, isn't it? The guys who he's lost to the very best, isn't it? Like to Sean. So he's lost to the very best. Like, so there's no real shame in what he's done. It's just a lot of folks don't like him outside of the sport or whatever, isn't he? He's like a Marmite guy, you know what I mean? But yeah, what it is.
He's funny.
Yeah.
But is he the thing when he was in the court when he said, "Man," they said, "Where are you gonna get the money from? My man Espinoza, my man Tank Davis." Yeah, and they said, "No, you've had your chance to pay your money, Adrian Broner. I'm sorry, you're gonna have to go to jail." Why I gotta go to jail? No. You even seen the video? It's got online. AB, listen. You know what? He's a phenomenal talent. I don't think lived up to the projected where he could have been. I don't think he achieved what he should have achieved in the sport. He's like, you know, Javonta Davis is like the new, not being rude in that aspect, but he's on track to become what Broner should have been, if you get my meaning. Because look, when he stepped up, he definitively took the judges out of the equation with that knockout against Santa Cruz the other day. And Adrian Broner, when he stepped up against Maidana and all the other folks that he stepped up, he came up short. Pacquiao, Maidana, all of those people. So I mean, in his career, it's gone a bit on the one because like, people don't believe in him anymore. You know what I mean? There with Pacquiao and Broner at Vegas, and he said, "Man, I beat that boy, man. They were made to start. I beat that boy." So you get me? It's a bit of, you know, like you say, it's like Marmite. You love him or you hate him. You know what I mean? He's made a lot of money out of the sport, but I feel like he's lost his way somewhat. But hey,
speaking about former opponents, I get your opinion first, Ashley, then I come to you, because I think you both have a good insight on this one. This weekend, Errol Spence against Danny Garcia is a great fight for me. As a boxing fan, that is just an unbelievable matchup. I know which way I think it's going to go, but have you taken much interest in that fight?
I think Spence will win. I think Spence will be too strong and too calculated. With Spence, he's very smart at what he does. He takes his time and he tries to break you down. So I think if Spence can bring back what he was before, I think Spence will go on to win. You know what I mean? I think Spence. I don't even think it will be that hard for Spence, but it depends what Dan he tries to bring to the table. So I think it'll be a good fight, but I think that Spence will win.
Dean?
Yeah. You know what? Listen, I'm a big Spence fan anyway. What's his name? DSG. You know, it's a good fight though. Danny Swift Garcia. Listen, he means business. Listen, he's done a lot of good stuff in the sport. And he's had some crazy knockouts. You know the ones. That one against Khan was the one that put him in the limelight for UK fans and stuff like that. You know. But yet again, he's not fighting Khan. He's fighting Errol Spence Jr. And like I said, I'm a big fan of his. I've been around America. I've been to a few of his shows now. Been to New York when he fought. What's the guy's name? Lamont Peterson. And then I was in Dallas when he fought Mikey. So I've been moving around, checking him, you know. And then I imagine like early this year when I went to Vegas, the Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury in Vegas, I met the coach and we became good friends. We've kept in touch. We've done Derek James. Derek James is a good guy. I've done a few interviews with him. I think on Pep Talk. We'll probably try and actually. When's that fight?
This weekend.
Is it this weekend?
Yeah.
I wonder if we can get him on. You know, I'm gonna. I would. You know what? I'm gonna message him if he's got time. Obviously, it's a big fight, so maybe he might not even have no time. Maybe I'll ask him. Yeah. I was meant to do it for. But listen, me and him, we chat. Listen. When I mean he's such a down to earth and sound guy, and he said, listen, anytime you come up to Dallas, you can come to the gym and train with us boys over there, and he's been more than accommodating. So, you know, like I said, I really liked Earl, and then to buck up with Derek and him be so embracing and welcoming, it just kind of, you know, goes in that vein. So, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing if Errol Spence can relive and be the same guy he was when he fought Mikey, Kell Brook, and those guys, and be as devastating.
I got to be honest. Maybe
so let's see what Saturday night will reveal most.
Maybe this makes me a bit of a casual. I don't know. I didn't really know too much about Errol Spence before Kell Brook. You know, when that fight came around, I started doing a bit more homework and seeing those previous fights. But since then, I've been so impressed with him. I genuinely think he beats Terence Crawford, and I know that a lot of people would not agree with that. But
you know what? This is why a lot of them they wouldn't fight Spence. Because Spence was known, but they would not take the risk to fight Spence. That's why you may not have known him. Like the mainstream fans, they may not have knew him because the world champions did not want to risk it to fight him. Hence, he had to come over here to fight Brook. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Keith Thurman didn't go near him.
Yeah, high risk, low reward, man.
If he does get past Danny, again, not to go off on another tangent, but if he does get past Danny and the Terence Crawford fight is made, which, I mean, come on, surely it has to get made. Is that one Terence can? Is that one Errol can win, or is that a step too far?
What I will say, the fight will not get made until Crawford joins PBC. So Crawford, he has to leave Bob. You know what I mean? Until then, he's not going to get those fights because PBC do not have to help out Bob. So they got their own guys there who could just keep just going at each other. So until he leaves Bob, he ain't going to get that fight.
Just a quick one. Let me just ask. This is to you, Ash, and then we'll come back to what you were saying. Was you with PBC fighting on? Yeah.
Huh?
Where was you? Was you fighting on PBC
Yeah,
or?
I was with PBC. Yeah, I was with PBC. Yeah, Mayweather Promotions. Yeah, they're PBC. Yeah.
Oh.
When?
Yeah, that. Go on.
No.
No, I was gonna go back to what you was talking about the Errol Spence and Crawford. You know what? I'm not gonna lie. I've got Crawford as my pound for pound #1 ahead of
Canelo.
That's just me. Yeah. I've got him ahead of Canelo. I still rate Canelo very highly. I just feel like Canelo has a knack of picking the right people at the right time. You know what I mean? It's you get me? It's good management. It's great what he done. What he's done, he got Rocky Fielding. He got was it Austrian Trout? He got lucky. He got Lara. He got lucky. You know, like Triple G, the first fight he got lucky. There's too much coincidences, and he has the rub of the green every time. When it's in the favors, when there's favors to be dished out, obviously because he's the cash cow, he's been the favors and getting the rub of the green. Crawford ain't getting no rub of the green. They're getting knocked out. You get me? It's decisive. They're getting stopped. What happens with Crawford? He goes orthodox. When it's going left, he chops it up. He changes southpaw and he gets them out of there.
Ash, let me ask you, and feel free.
I think it's going to be a really good fight.
Ash, let me ask you, and feel free to tell me if you can talk about it or whatever. You were obviously in the Mayweather camp around the time his stock was rising, shall we say?
Yeah.
And we heard rumours about what he did to Broner in sparring, and if he knocked certain people down or whatever. Was Spence ever in? Did you ever see Errol Spence in and around that camp? Was he? What was his?
Yeah, I was there when Spence was sparring with Floyd. I was there when Spence sparred Floyd. When was his? Yeah, I was there. Because that's when I sparred Spence. So he sparred Floyd first, then he went off to do his own thing, and then I sparred him the week of his fight twice, innit? Then me and him sparred twice. Yeah.
And how did he fare against himself and Floyd?
No, he done well against Floyd. Hence, you know what I mean, he done well against Floyd. Hence, I think like he must have done so well against Floyd. Like, so basically, the way Floyd is Floyd wants to work you out. So I think the first time they sparred, like Spence done very good, and then Floyd was like shit, like he didn't like that, and then they kind of sparred. I think like 4 days in a row, some mad shit like that, like 4 days in a row, because Floyd was like, I'm gonna break this kid, like so they sparred for like something like that. It was like 4 days in a row, and one thing I respect Spence, at that time he was still a young man, and Floyd was trying to get into his head, but he was standing up to Floyd. He didn't care, like he was a young man, and he like believed in himself, like so. It was good to see, like, you know what I mean. So Spence done well, but as it went on, Floyd worked him out, and yeah, You know what I mean? He done what he does. So it was good to see though. Like it was like better than a lot of fights. So it was great. Yeah, it was great work. Like you had the old GOAT, and then you had the rising guy just coming. They were just going at it, and yeah, Floyd wasn't having it. But Floyd wasn't having it. Spence, he wasn't having it. So it was just a clash all the time. It was just lie there, go fight. So yeah, it was great to see it, and then it was weird. So that's what I'm saying. So they done that for around 2 weeks, and then Floyd let him go do his own camp for his own fight, and then so then it was the weekend before his fight. That's when Bowles Red was. He asked me to spar with him. Then I sparred with him, and then they wanted to spar me again, and then we sparred again, and then it was cool. So yeah, like Spence, and even when I sparred with Spence, I was on the defense because I was like, this motherfucker's strong, like so yeah, I mean? So yeah, I was like, yo, I like defense. So yeah, so I was like, yeah, Spence, he's gonna go on to be a world champ because he was just that's what 8 years. Where did we spar? We sparred 7 years ago. So he's improved like so much like from this. So what he's doing now, I'm not surprised. And the weird thing is, when did Kell Brook fight Spence?
4 years ago, I think 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, it was weird because his coach at the time, he DM'd me the week of the fight or 2 weeks before the fight to ask me about the sparring. Who gives a fuck what I think about the sparring? One, I sparred him years ago, and two, you're messaging me like 2 weeks before the fight. Why do you even care? So when I saw that, I was like, yeah, Kel's got to lose because there's no way that the coach should be asking me this 2 weeks before the fight.
Is that Domingo?
Yeah. So
right.
You know what I mean?
I tell you what, Dean. I think a lot of people would pay some good money to Spence Floyd sparring and acting there as well. I think a lot of people would have paid for that.
Yeah, it's good shit, man. Seen a lot.
Yeah, of course. So people were talking about that at the time. About that he gave Floyd 2 black eyes and this and that. People were talking about years ago.
Even AB said to me, AB asked me, after we fought, he said, who is the hardest guy that you've like been hit by in a ring? And he said that it was Spence. He was like, that motherfucker hit hard. So he was saying that like sparring fight, like Spence is the hardest guy who hits hard in a ring. And that's what AB was saying then. So, you know what I mean? So this was what, like 3 years ago we had that talk, yeah.
Spence has been attributed. I've never.
So imagine if he got them, he's got to wear 8-ounce gloves. That shit must hurt.
Spence has been attributed quotes. I can't just think of any direct that I've seen, but people linking him to a Canelo fight, saying Spence says he'd step up and fight Canelo if that came around. I mean, surely, even for a guy that hits as hard as he does, who is known to walk around at heavier than welter, surely Canelo is just one step too far, just physically, size-wise.
You know what, though? It's timing. It's timing. It's not going to go on now. You never know in 2 years or 3 years' time, because Canelo's still young, Spencer, so you never know in 2 or 3 years' time how it is. So, you know what I mean? So it's interesting times.
Yeah. Let's bring it back around to your fight then, because we've gone around the houses a little bit there. So it might be the last time. It's certainly be the last time in this country. What you call coming home. Is it your opportunity to have that big British night? It's on TV. It's the last one. It's against a good name as well. Sam Eggington is a very respectable name. Are you excited for this?
Yeah, like, you know what it is. I've been offered the Josh fight. The Ben fight was there as well in June or July. Like, I would prefer to fight Sam because Sam's been British, Commonwealth, and European champion. And I think he's around the same age as them. So you got to respect Sam because he's done it the hard way as well. He's been on the B side and had to cause the upset. So man like Sam, I respect. And then he's coming to war as well. So for me, it's like a nice way to come back home. It's going to be on terrestrial as well. So, you know what I mean? So it's a new set. I haven't fought here from 2012. So it's a whole different set of fans. Like majority of these guys have never seen me fight. And for me, it's a great way to sign out. I would love to win. We have to wait to see on the night. But you never know. I might be, he's going to come at me swinging, blah, 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 blah. But if I can take his shit and then my mind is still sharp and smart, I might box him. I might outfight him. So I don't know until I'm in there. You know what I mean? I don't know how good he is. I don't know how strong he is. But like in my mind, you never know. I might just be, because I've even though he wants to go to do the world thing, I've done that. I've been in the, I've done a lot of stuff. So for me, mentally, I'm far superior, like than him. But sometimes you get too old and your body can't do what your mind wants to do. You know what I mean? So you know what I mean? It's one of those things. So I'm hoping to throw the dice one last time, and we got it in. You know what I mean? I'm too young to be going at these guys who are 28 like years old. So this is why for me it's a one-time thing, because I don't want to keep going at these young guys, and I don't have shit to prove with them. Like, you know what I mean?
What do you reckon, Dean? I know you don't like giving predictions. Are you going to watch?
Do you know what? I'm going to watch. Listen, I'm just looking up. I've kind of more or less kind of narrowed it down. Look, at the end of the day, look, Father Time is against old, what's his face here? Ashley. The old top chicken, son. 40 years of age and all that. What is it? Is this going to be your 60th fight?
Yeah.
Is this going to be your 60th fight?
Yeah.
59.
Yeah.
Yeah, 60 fights is a hell of a lot of fights. It's been a very long career. But saying that, Sam has had a lot of fights as well. I'm not going to lie. Do you know what? Sam has been around the block a very long time. And when I heard his age, he told me he's 27 just the other day. I couldn't believe it. I thought, how long he's been around the block, getting bashed up, bashing people up, and having excruciatingly hard fights and pulling them off against all the odds. It's credit to him. Again, it's like you said, like it's kind of mad. Like, like you're gonna go in there and put it all on the line and see if you're, like you feel good in the gym. You're doing all the stuff, the bag, the sparring, all of that's great. When you get in there on the night against someone who's maybe active a little bit, that's been in all these hard fights, your skill set is, if you're gonna have the IQ to move around after you start once you start getting a few rounds under your belts, how does it start to all play out? You know what I mean? And that's going to be answered on the night. And like you said, you're only going to know then. There's a tricky one. Obviously, he's young, he's hungry. Obviously, you're the old fox in there trying to see if he can pull one more hurrah out of this illustrious career. And you're right. I'll be sitting on the fence. So good luck to you.
Shit.
Very good. Well, listen, Ash, there is so much to
listen, let's not upset anyone.
We're all friends. It's all good. I was just going to say, we've got.
Sorry. Go on, Chris.
There's loads we can still go through. There's loads about stories of going abroad, your book that's coming out, what happens next. I read that you want to open a gym, stories about what happened on Boxer. I think if it's okay with, I'm sure it will be okay with Dean, and if it's okay with you, Ash, we get you back on in a few weeks after the fight's done and dusted.
All right, mate. All right, it's so good.
I'm wary of keeping you. We said, initially I said to you, could you do a 20-minute call? We've had nearly an hour. So we've overstepped. We have overstepped. But listen, mate, it really has been a treat. And the fight the fight is a fan-friendly one. I'm really looking forward to it. I wish you both all the best.
All right, man. All right, my guys. All right, see you guys. Yeah, see you guys.